I want to just rant about cigarettes really quick. When I quit smoking cigarettes, there was about a month and a half to 2 month period where I had severe, severe constipation. And every fiber of my program addicted mind wanted me to find a logical reason to go back to smoking cigarettes so that I could, have a bowel movement. I went through such anxiety when I quit smoking cigarettes, and my memory became horrible and whatnot. That again, the logical thing to the mind at that point is, hey, you're not able to deal with reality right now. You're not able to even remember things. You've read the same paragraph 6 times and you can't recall it. Get that cigarette out. It'll make it a lot easier. You'll be able to go right back to your old self. The mind will trick itself, ladies and gentlemen, and that's because we were never taught mental mastery. We were never taught how to control the direction of our thoughts and our minds and our beliefs when we were young. So now we are in a culture of adults who were taught basic rudimentary education, but never how to control their own mind, never how to control the functioning of their own breathing. We were never taught how to illuminate our consciousness through certain yogic. We were never taught what was truly important when we were younger, and because of that, we've erected a lot of bogus beliefs that still operate unconsciously as adults. So when you're trying to get off of smoking cigarettes, for instance, that part of you that was never taught mental mastery will just try to trick you. The programmed mind will always try to trick you. You'll have feelings come over you and things that will kind of try to gear you towards going back to your old ways because it'll make life in the moment easier. I hope that makes sense. Now, the reason why I brought up the whole childhood programming thing and the lack of mental mastery is that if you were truly taught mental mastery at a young age, you would never have put that cigarette in your mouth now, would you? We live in a world of bad health, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world where our minds have been programmed and we don't have control over them. Whether you believe that or not, you may have control over some of your mind, but you sure as hell don't have control over all of your mind, and you are a fool for thinking so. It's only through the realization that we don't have full control over our mind and that we do make bad decisions, and that, what the hell, coming to that kind of realization, one of the kind of a holy crap, what am I doing realization, only then, when we realize how bad things have gotten and how little control we're exerting over our lives, can we reach rock bottom and formulate a plan. Only then will you see the value in taking control of your life. When you realize that you're destroying your health, or, and most Americans are, it doesn't matter if it's regarding cigarettes, excessive carbohydrate consumption, excessive processed goods, bad television. I'm not even going to get into some of the more intricate levels of ways that people destroy their health, because I don't want to say certain things that can potentially get me kicked off of here, but the system is deep, the game is deep, ladies and gentlemen. We are a species that was designed to be enlightened. We were designed to basically walk around this physical world in a state of consciousness and physiological enlightenment where there were no limitations. There were, through the kundalini energy, spirit was tethered completely into our physical bodies, and we basically were God, and we could achieve anything. We were designed to experience reality inside of our Merkaba. We were designed to be able to see all the energy fields around the human body, but they've turned all of that off, and we've nourished that lack of self-expansion and enlightenment through our own actions. So, again, this message is not for everyone. This channel sure as hell is not for everyone. Only certain people are going to be able to vibe and resonate with this message, and that's just the way it is. But in my early 20s, I experienced Kundalini on a handful of occasions, and one of the main things that I took away from those experiences was that we had been turned into a slave species, and that we had actually been turned into an energy source for a group of entities known as the Archons. And I'm not going to go into detail about this in this video. I'm going to lightly bring it up, ladies and gentlemen, because I talk about this heavily on my Patreon page. Certain things I go into much greater detail in regards to on my Patreon page. I just released an hour and 20-minute lecture on the archons, what they are, what the great archon is, these entities that suck our energy and that have turned the earth into a energy farm, ladies and gentlemen. We have all of these very intricate and intimate aspects of our bodies, these energy fields known as subtle organizing energy fields, our aura, our auric template, our causal body, our astral body, our Merkaba, all of these things that surround our physical body that we can no longer see anymore because our hippocampus and our pituitary and pineal gland, all of these regions of our brain have been basically turned off due to never really... The food, it plays an effect on the lack of stimulation of these very sacred parts of our physical body, but so does the lack of learning how to stimulate them. We were, again, like I said earlier, we were never taught mental mastery at a young age. We were never taught visualizations and breathing techniques to stimulate these regions of our brain, our body, our liver, you name it, that when these regions are turned on, you experience enlightenment. We were never taught that, but we have these energy fields around us, ladies and gentlemen, constantly, and in a state of enlightenment, you can actually see them and communicate with them. In fact, to be honest, the enlightenment experience is largely you just becoming aware again of these energy fields to the point where you can see them and communicate with them. Enlightenment is you being able to see into the fourth and fifth dimensional overtones through the activation and arousal of kundalini energy. The kundalini energy stimulates all these dormant regions of your physiology that once stimulated and aroused and turned on again, you can now see the truth. Enlightenment is merely the body and the mind becoming its full potential through the entire physical makeup being completely turned on. I hope that makes sense. But where was I going from that? Basically, these archons, folks, and this is heavily talked about in a religious outlook known as Gnosticism, and I consider myself a Gnostic. But the Gnostics, the Gnostic Christians, etc., and there's multiple different sects, not sects, but sects, S-E-C-T. There's multiple different groups and off branches of Gnosticism, but within Gnosticism, there's a relatively agreed upon viewpoint of the world that the physical world is evil, and that there are groups of negative entities that are manipulating the growth of human consciousness. And that these entities want to control us and farm us for our energy. So, again, I talk about this more in Patreon, on my Patreon page. I suggest books on my Patreon page about Gnosticism. But essentially, Gnosis, what Gnosis is, ladies and gentlemen, is direct understanding of the truth through enlightenment. That's my personal definition of Gnosis. Many people will say that Gnosis, which is the foundation of Gnosticism, but many people will say that Gnosis is just knowledge, oftentimes just occult knowledge. Well, what is occult knowledge? The most profound form of occult knowledge is the enlightenment experience. And when you experience enlightenment, you download information through the enlightenment experience that far supersedes anything that you could ever find in a book. You experience the merging of spirit with flesh, with your flesh. You experience the merging of the true living God, the hidden God, becoming awakened within your physical and mental bodies. The Kundalini does this. The serpent energy, ladies and gentlemen, is the foundation of Gnosticism, of Gnosis. That is why this channel is, why do you think my channel is called Sacred Serpent? It's because the serpent energy is indeed sacred, ladies and gentlemen. It is the foundation, whether you like to believe it or not, of most religions. It is the foundation of the story of the Holy Grail, the serpent. It is the foundation of the secrets of Solomon's temple, which is just a metaphor for the human body. Oh man, we have been lied to, and we've been sold a bill of goods, and we've been tricked and hoodwinked, and we've had beliefs established that keep us from understanding the truth. And on top of that, we have multiple addictions, which is, I started off on addictions, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm having an ADHD moment. So let me get back into discussing addictions. But, one of the foundational motifs, if you will, or the foundational undercurrents of the philosophical, or one of the main things that I try to educate people on here on this channel is that we were designed to experience and be much more than what we currently are experiencing and what we currently are. And it's just the truth. Whether people like to believe it or not, it's the truth. We have the ability to become so much greater. We have the ability to completely heal this ecosphere that we live in and unlock the secrets of nature and become demigods, ladies and gentlemen. We have the ability to turn this earth realm into Atlantis, basically, again, and experience the freedom of life. Life was never designed to have all this chaos and this. The amount of chaos here in this world and negative energy is extensive. And the Great Archon, also known as the Demiurge by the Gnostics, or Cosmic Crater, or Adaldabaoth, has set up this world to be an energy farm. There's a lot of negative energy here in this world because that's what this entity and this group of entities feeds off of. You may be wondering, why would an entity want to feed on negative energy? Isn't negative energy unhealthy? Well, from an alchemical perspective, ladies and gentlemen, the alchemist, when he sees energy, he or she, there is no good and bad energy. Energy is just energy. Now, however, oftentimes negative energy is imbued with a lot of emotion. When you're stressed or when you're angry with someone, you start shooting out energy from your physical body and from your non-physical body, your subtle organizing energy fields, out into the energetic world around you, which there's certain things I want to get into, but I'm not. But basically, the alchemist, when he or she views the world, he doesn't just see a world of objects, he sees a world of energy. Everything is indeed energy. All matter is energy condensed into different vibrations and resonances, you name it. And when you experience energy, whether it's good or bad, ladies and gentlemen, unless you learn how to contain that energy that you're emanating, you shoot it out like solar flares into the energetic sea around you, and it gets absorbed by that particular field, which is controlled by the Archon. Why do you think that the world is in the state it is? Because this is heaven? No. This world is hell, and most Gnostics would agree with me on that this world is indeed hell. But we can, through Gnosis, which is, again, enlightenment, we can achieve states of consciousness and physical health, emotional health, where we merge heaven consciousness, or the true God, we merge that into our bodies, and this world becomes heaven. Heaven is indeed a state of consciousness. And when enough people experience this, the collective consciousness of humanity is swayed toward a particular direction, and the reformatting of the physical world is initiated. I hope that makes sense. By one person experiencing true enlightenment, the entire collective consciousness benefits from that, and it starts leaning towards a particular direction. The Great Archon, Cosmic Crater, Adaldabaoth, whatever you want to call it, wants to suppress Kundalini Christ consciousness, the serpent energy, from evolving within our genome. Because it's through that energy that we escape the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think that movie, The Matrix, was about? It was about a man named Neo that was asleep and plugged in to a simulated world, which the Gnostics believe we live in a piece of bad simulation, bad software, essentially. And a man named a man named Morpheus, which is Morpheus, to a large extent, is Lucifer, ladies and gentlemen. And Morpheus, also known as Lucifer, leads Neo, who is Adam, in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus appears to be a Lucifer character, Neo appears to be an Adam character, and Trinity appears to be an Eve character, and Eve leads Adam, Neo, to Lucifer, who offers him the apple of Eden, which is the red pill. And when he takes the red pill, he is illuminated, ladies and gentlemen, by the Kundalini energy, and he is now able to see the truth. Now, obviously, in the movie, they didn't show a serpent climbing up his spine and illuminating all his ganglia and nerve centers and all the blood vessels, but there was symbolic representations that his body was undergoing an energetic renewal. For instance, when he's laying on the table, after he gets unplugged from the Matrix and he's basically being operated on, he has a bunch of acupuncture needles and very specific and very sacred acupuncture and acupressure points, meridian points. When the Kundalini activates, ladies and gentlemen, the Kundalini energy spits and spurts and swims energy through all of these meridian points. And when these meridian points are hyper illuminated and stimulated by the flooding of energy through them once again, you experience something known as Christ consciousness, which is nothing more than a glamorous way to explain a state of consciousness that you were designed to experience. I wanted to personally thank you for watching my videos and contributing to the growth of my channel. I could not do this without you, and your interest in my content is truly what motivates me and fuels my passion for making these videos and spreading my message. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to remind you that this channel is a free educational tool that is listener supported, and if you would like to donate to my channel and donate to my cause, help make my life a little bit easier and help keep the lights on around here, you can do so by checking out the links in the description box below. There's a handful of not only ways to donate to my channel, but I also have links to different websites and different videos of mine, as well as my Amazon store, where you can check out a plethora of different health-related products that I use and recommend. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued interest in my message, and until next time, peace be with you all.